and sit down. Thanks a lot, guys. Apparently, the stress of this game today was too much for me, and I developed a temporary case of Tourette's again.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Rogue from 41 Sports. Happy to be with you guys again. It's been a while since we last spoke. I believe that I can't remember which vid it was. I think it was the Tua vid or something. No, it couldn't have been. It probably was the Thursday night football game predictions. But yeah, it's been a while, guys. Just thought I'd stop by and drop you guys another vid on the channel. Honestly, just life has gotten busy and all. Hopefully everyone else is doing good. Just with work and school and everything, I haven't had time to really do as much or be able to create as much football content or everything. I literally, for the past month or so, have just been extremely busy with my new job and everything. So yeah, it's just with all of that. Hopefully you guys had a wonderful Christmas, a happy New Year, and yeah, let's get started with these predictions, man. So starting off on the AFC side, it's the 4 seed Jaguars against the 5 seed Chargers. Chargers came into this game already having clinched a playoff berth in Week 17. Jaguars had to wait until the last week to win the AFC South and take it from the Titans. Jaguars finished with a record of 9-8. They won the AFC South by 1 game over the Tennessee Titans. And the Chargers, meanwhile, were in second in the AFC West to the Kansas City Chiefs. But without further ado, here we go. So, Jaguars and Chargers, I'm expecting this one to be a fairly close game throughout. It's Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence's first playoff starts. I do think that both teams are very equally balanced. Both quarterbacks play well, Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence says at the end of the year has come on quite well with the Jaguars. I think the coaching change, which with Doug Peterson coming in at the beginning of the year and Urban Meyer being out, I think that's changed the whole team drastically. But so far, the Jacksonville Jaguars have played so much better on the defensive end of the football in recent weeks leading up to this playoff game. So I think that between them, I think that the Chargers would have a very good offense, but I do think that the Jacksonville Jaguars being at home and having a better defense than most people assume, I'm going to give this game to the Jacksonville Jaguars, man. I do think that the Jaguars will beat the Chargers and send LA back home with another playoff loss. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't see anything else really happening, but I do think that the Jaguars will win, and I do think that they will move on to the next round of the playoffs. Let's go to the next tier, Bengals-Ravens. I do think that the Cincinnati Bengals will win this game. The Bengals have played so much better overall than the Baltimore Ravens. It just depends on who the starter is going to be. Even with, Lamar Jackson, I think the Ravens have really underachieved this year. They're second in the AFC North. The Bengals beat them in week 18 to take the AFC North from Baltimore. But I just think that that the Bengals are a much well-rounded team than the Baltimore Ravens. And I just think that Cincinnati will win this game. I don't see it being close. I see the Bengals overpowering a Ravens team, even though it's their third meeting of the year. But I just think that Cincinnati is a much more experienced team than Baltimore is. So I have the Bengals beating the Ravens in this football game. Moving down to the bottom tier, it's the Bills at the Dolphins. Again, this is going to be a blowout. I don't see any way possible that the Dolphins beat the Bills, even with Skylar Thompson at quarterback. It's pretty much a moot point that the Dolphins are just going to get absolutely ripped and shredded to pieces by the Buffalo Bills. I just think Buffalo is a lot better overall on offense, defense, and everywhere in between. And even with the DeMar Hamlin situation, I just think that Buffalo is going to be ready to go, ready to pounce on Miami, if at all. But I just think that this game's going to be a blowout. It's being played in Orchard Park, and I just think that the Bills are a better football team, and they're playing in the cold weather, which doesn't suit Miami very well. But if it's Josh Allen against Skylar Thompson, give me the Bills any day. I think the Bills blow out the Dolphins and move on to the divisional round. Moving over to the NFC side for the NFC wild card round, I do think let's look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. Now, so far in his career, Tom Brady is unbeaten against the Cowboys. And they had a week 1 meeting. This was way back in September. They had a week 1 meeting where the Buccaneers won the football game 19-3 in Dallas. But I see a different outcome this time, because Tampa Bay has had a lot of trouble running the football. They haven't had great defensive play. Even the special teams has just been not very good. I just think that Dallas is a much better overall football team in this game. I do think that the Cowboys will beat the Buccaneers. I don't see any way possible that Tampa Bay could win this game. And they're even playing at home. But Tampa Bay with an under 500 record, I think that, and we've all said we've doubted Tom Brady before, but I think this year especially because of the fact that, Tampa Bay has not had a good offensive line to protect Brady. They haven't had a good defense. And I just see Dallas beating Tampa Bay. There's no way around that. The Cowboys will win. Moving down the ladder to the Vikings and Giants, I do think that the New York Giants could actually pull the upset on the Vikings. I really do think that's possible. From their game on Christmas Eve with the Vikings winning 27-24, I think that the New York Giants are a surprise story for sure. I do think that they have the offensive capability, and with Saquon Barkley running the football, I do think that the New York Giants could upset the Minnesota Vikings. I just think that the only thing that the Vikings have on offense is Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson. They do have Adam Thielen, some other good receivers, but I do think that the Giants' defense really shut them down in that Christmas Eve matchup with the Minnesota Vikings. But honestly, everyone's been saying all year that the Vikings defense is one of the elite defenses in the NFL, which I can understand. But when you have an offense that is a complete firepower, like the Dallas Cowboys, or even the New York Giants almost beat them, but any team that's got offensive capability and has offensive firepower, they're gonna beat the Minnesota Vikings. There's no doubt about that. I mean, if the Vikings and the Giants get into a shootout, I can almost definitely see the Minnesota Vikings being ousted from the playoffs in the first round. I just think that's just common class. I hate to be rude to Vikings fans, but I just see the New York Giants beating the Minnesota Vikings. Now, maybe I'm just over speculating, but we could see the Vikings win and make a 2017 run to the NFC Championship game like we saw when they beat the New Orleans Saints on that walk-off touchdown. But like I said, that was 2017. This is 2023. I do think that the New York Giants defensively are a better football team than the Minnesota Vikings. Offensively, I think it's the other way around. I think the Vikings offensively are better than the New York Giants. So this game to me is a toss-up, but I do think that the New York Giants could pull the upset on the road, and so I'm going to go with the Giants to win this game. Now, moving down to the bottom tier, we have the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, the Seahawks for the last 6 weeks have been reeling. They've lost 5 of 6. The only game they won was against the Rams in Week 18 to even qualify for the playoffs, because we all know what happened with Detroit beating Green Bay on that Sunday night game. So I do think that the San Francisco 49ers are a better team. Uh, Brock Purdy in their quarterback. We've seen a lot of good stuff from Brock Purdy. This will be his first playoff start. I do think that, with Christian McCaffrey, with Deebo Samuel, and with George Kittle possibly going to be playing in this game, I do see the San Francisco 49ers winning this game. The Seattle Seahawks are a good team, don't get me wrong. I just don't think that they're going to be up to the task to take on this 49er defense. I do think that the 49ers are the better team overall on offense and defense. It's another 2-7 blowout for me. I think the 49ers will blow out the Seattle Seahawks in Santa Clara, and the 49ers will move on and play the Dallas Cowboys. So moving on to the AFC divisional round. So we have the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I do see Kansas City probably beating Jacksonville in the first round, in the divisional round of the playoffs. So I do think Kansas City will move on. I just think the Chiefs have a better overall team. The Jaguars, meanwhile, have had a very good end to the year. So I could possibly see the Jaguars moving into the AFC Championship game. But as of right now, I just think that Kansas City is too good of a team, and they'll make it into the AFC Championship game. As for Bengals and Bills, I do think that the Cincinnati Bengals could beat the Buffalo Bills. Even though that Week 17 game between them was canceled because of the Damar Hamlin situation, I do see the Cincinnati Bengals going into Buffalo and probably beating the Bills and walking away and headed to the AFC Championship game. So I think it'll be I think it'll be a rematch of last year's championship game between the Chiefs and the Bengals. I do think that that's what's going to happen. It'll be Chiefs-Bengals in another AFC rematch from AFC Championship rematch from a year ago. Now, moving over to the NFC side, we got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New York Giants. So this is a rematch from the two games that they both played in previous weeks between them. So I do think that the Philadelphia Eagles are a better overall matchup against the New York Giants. I do think that between the two games that they played, New York had started all of their other starters. I do think, though, that this game is going to be close. I do think that the Eagles and Giants will play a close game. I don't see any other way possible that they blow each other out. I do think that the Philadelphia Eagles will come out on top, though, as they are a better overall team than the New York Giants. I do think that Philly will move on. They will host the NFC Championship game against the winner of the 49ers-Cowboys game. And moving over to that matchup, I think the 49ers overall are a very, very good matchup for the Dallas Cowboys. I do think that the San Francisco 49ers have a legitimate shot to beat Dallas and to really send the Cowboys home packing. I do think that the 49er defense and the 49er offense are gonna disrupt Dak Prescott and the Cowboys from really being able to do anything. I do think that the San Francisco 49ers are going to disrupt passing lanes. They're going to they're going to control the line of scrimmage. I do think that overall, the San Francisco 49ers, to me, are the team to beat in the NFC behind Philadelphia. But I do think that San Francisco will beat Dallas and will move on to the NFC Championship game against Philadelphia. So moving on to the AFC Championship game, we have the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals. So I do think that from the previous year, so Kansas City lost to Cincinnati 27-24 in a game in Cincinnati. Patrick Mahomes has never had success against the Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow as the quarterback for the Bengals. So I do think that the Bengals can go back into Arrowhead. They did it last year, and I think that they go back into Arrowhead this year and they do the same thing that they did to the Chiefs last year, which is they walk into Arrowhead and they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I do have the Cincinnati Bengals moving on to Super Bowl 57 for a second straight year. I think the Bengals are the better team. They've had the better experience not the better experience, but they've had the better team mojo and team chemistry. They play better overall defense. And I just think that the Cincinnati Bengals are the team to beat in the AFC. I know everyone says the Chiefs are the team to beat, but I think it's the Cincinnati Bengals who are the team to beat in the AFC this year. Moving over to the NFC side, in the NFC Championship game, it'll be the San Francisco 49ers at the Philadelphia Eagles. So this game is really interesting. It's going to be Jalen Hurts against Brock Purdy. I do see this game being very close. I think this game is actually a coin flip, and this is a very likely scenario for the NFC Championship game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers. I could see either team coming out of this championship game. But for me, I think the determining factor is going to be both defenses, because both defenses are rock solid for both Philadelphia and for San Francisco. But I do think that the San Francisco 49ers will win this game. I do think that they have the legitimate firepower and the ability to keep up with the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think that defense is so suffocating for San Francisco that they are probably going to move on to the Super Bowl to face off against the Cincinnati Bengals in Super Bowl 57. And for that, we go to my Super Bowl prediction, which will be coming at a later time. For me, so right now I'm going to give you my prediction for who I think will win the Super Bowl. So it's the Cincinnati Bengals against the San Francisco 49ers. I do think that the San Francisco 49ers are a better defensive team. I think both teams are pretty high-octane offenses. They play defense very well. It's going to be a very close Super Bowl. But my prediction is that the Bengals will beat the San Francisco 49ers 24-23. They win it on an Evan McPherson game-winning field goal, and the Cincinnati Bengals are Super Bowl champions for the first time in their history. So we will see what happens in the NFL playoffs this year, but I think that the Cincinnati Bengals will win the Super Bowl. I have no doubt in my mind, but I do think that they will be challenged by a very tough and a very staunch and rigid 49er defense in the Super Bowl. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and let me know how you guys see this NFL playoffs turning out. But for me, I think the Cincinnati Bengals will win Super Bowl 57. I just think Joe Burrow is too high octane of a quarterback, and the Bengal defense is a pretty stout unit, even though they're an underrated unit. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I will see you guys in the next vid. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know this is going to be a long vid. It's probably going to be about like 20 minutes or so by the time I finish. So yeah, hopefully you guys have a great day. Have a great weekend. Hopefully you guys get to watch some football and stuff, some playoff football, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully, it'll be sometime soon. But when the Super Bowl does happen, just to let you guys know, I'll probably be streaming it. So I'll probably be streaming the Super Bowl and watching it with you guys. So let me know what you guys think. And yeah, I will talk to you guys in the near future. Anyway, this is the Rogue Rider signing off on 4-1 Sports. Have a good day, everyone. Talk to you soon. Goodbye.